On October 15th, 2022, four college wrestlers named Kendall Cummings, Brady Lowry, August Harrison, and Orrin Jackson were shed hunting outside of Cody, Wyoming. Later in the afternoon, the boys decided to separate into two groups, so Brady and Kendall went off on their own, but they were only a few hundred meters away from the other two boys. Now, as Brady and Kendall are walking along, out of nowhere they hear this terrible thrashing in the brush right next to them, and Brady looks over just in time to see this huge grizzly bear charging him. He has time to scream just one word, bear, and he's reaching for his bear spray, but he can't even get the safety cap off before this thing tackles him. And it kind of tackles him over this little embankment he's standing next to. It gets on top of him and starts mauling him. Now, Brady's thinking, I just got to protect my head. So he's kind of trying to fight back, but mostly he's just curling up and putting his arms up. And he can feel this bear bite down on his left forearm, and he feels the bones in his forearm break under the pressure of this bear's bite. Now, meanwhile, Kendall, he's yelling and screaming at this bear, and he's throwing rocks at it, trying to get it off of Brady. But when this doesn't work, Kendall does something amazing. He runs up to this bear, basically jumps on its back, and tries to wrestle it off of Brady. At one point, he grabs onto one of the bear's ears and just tries to rip as hard as he can, trying to get its head away. And this works. The bear turns around, stands up on its hind legs, and just bellows at Kendall before it gets back down and just tackles Kendall to the ground and begins viciously mauling Kendall. It bites him on the face, where basically its bottom jaws go underneath his cheek, and it just rips this huge piece of flesh up off of his face. It's just hanging by a flap. It grabs him by the head, and Kendall can hear the sound of the teeth grating against his skull, and then he can feel and hear as the bear rips off his scalp, and it's biting his arms and his legs and basically everywhere. And Kendall is punching at it and kicking at it, screaming, fighting, and eventually the bear walks off. But before the bear gets too far away, Kendall makes a crucial mistake. He stands up and he's just thinking, is Brady okay? So he yells, Brady, Brady. And the bear hears this and just immediately turns back around and comes back and begins to maul Kendall again. Meanwhile, Brady has alerted the other two boys that, this is going on, and they're on their way to come help. But at this point, Kendall realizes he can't fight this thing, so he plays dead. And this time the bear does leave for good. And Kendall just lays there for a few minutes without saying anything, making sure the bear's really gone. When it is, he gets up, he finds Brady. The other two boys come and they help their two friends down the mountain, carrying them on their backs. Search and rescue was alerted. They found them. They got the boys to the hospital where they made a full recovery. Terrible scars, but full recovery otherwise. And if it weren't for Kendall, Brady probably wouldn't be here today.